I had always trusted her. Deep down, I knew love wasn't just about roses and candlelit dinners. It was about loyalty, trust, and shared dreams. And I thought we had that, at least until her friends decided to plant a seed of doubt, casually joking that she had a backup man waiting somewhere. At first, I laughed it off, telling myself that friends exaggerate and gossip is harmless. But the way she laughed along, her smile a little too forced, her eyes flicking nervously whenever the topic came up, it began to gnaw at me. Something wasn't right. I started noticing small things. Text messages she would quickly swipe away when I entered the room, calls she would take in another room, whispers that ended abruptly when I walked past. My gut screamed betrayal, but my mind begged for proof. I couldn't confront her without certainty. I needed evidence, something undeniable that would either destroy my suspicions or confirm them in a way that couldn't be ignored. That weekend, she was going out for a girls' night, a casual excuse she had used countless times before. But this time, I wasn't going to sit at home waiting for lies to trickle back to me. I traced her movements, found the bar she was heading to, and, from a discreet distance, I watched her glide through the crowd with that same confident smile that had once captivated me. But tonight, there was a subtle electricity in the air, one that wasn't meant for me. I saw him, the man her friends had whispered about, the one they called her backup. He was waiting near the bar, dressed sharply, laughing at her jokes, leaning in close, their shoulders brushing, their hands almost meeting. My chest tightened. Every instinct in me told me this was more than friendship. This was betrayal, in living color, unfolding before my eyes. I didn't storm in. I didn't scream. I didn't confront her. That's not how I wanted this to end. No, I wanted the world to watch. I wanted her to feel the weight of her choices in the harshest, most public way possible. I spent the next hour quietly plotting. I called one of her closest friends, someone she trusted, someone who knew nothing about my plan, and asked her to join me. She agreed, intrigued and concerned in equal measure. When the moment came, I entered the bar like I owned it. My presence was a shockwave. Conversations halted mid-sentence. Drinks froze mid-air. Her eyes widened first, surprise, guilt, panic, and then the subtle flicker of fear as she realized she hadn't been careful enough. The backup man froze too, his confident grin faltering the second he realized I was there. I walked straight up to them. My steps deliberate, controlled, calm, each one a drumbeat of inevitability. The air thickened with tension. I could hear the whispers of other patrons, the subtle murmur of curiosity turning to shock. She tried to mask it with a laugh, but it was brittle, a thin veil over the storm she'd created. I looked at the man who had dared to play the part of backup in her life. For the first time, I really looked at him. He was smug, self-assured, clearly proud to be the hidden treasure she flaunted. But his confidence wavered under my gaze. I leaned in slightly, enough for him to notice the ice in my eyes, the silent promise of retribution. Then I did something unexpected, something she would never see coming. I smiled, cold, calculating, and addressed him in front of everyone. "So, you're the one she's been spending her nights with? The one she thinks she can keep in the shadows while I wait at home?" He stammered, trying to find words. But before he could, I continued, my voice loud enough for the entire bar to hear. "You know what? Let's make this interesting. If she wants him to be important, let him be the main event. Right here. Right now." Her face drained of color. She opened her mouth to speak, but no sound came out. The backup man looked bewildered, unsure whether this was a joke, a confrontation, or something far worse. I gestured to the bartender, who immediately understood my silent signal, and within seconds, the bar's attention was fully on us. I told him to stand on the small stage by the corner, where the live band was setting up. "Come on," I said. "Let everyone see who's really stealing her heart." At first, he hesitated, clearly unsure if he was supposed to comply, but the pressure of 100 curious eyes bore down on him. Slowly, he climbed the steps, his face a mix of fear and arrogance. Then I turned to her, my voice steady, piercing through the thick tension. "You've been calling him your little secret, your backup, but secrets have a way of coming out. You think the world doesn't see, but I do. I always did. And tonight, I want everyone to see too." The bar went silent. Her friends, the very ones who had joked about him behind her back, Now watch the scene unfold like a thriller in real life. I could see the regret in their eyes. They hadn't thought she'd be exposed this publicly. The backup man looked at her, confused. She tried to reach for his hand, a desperate attempt to salvage some dignity, some illusion of control. But I stepped closer, blocking her, a silent barrier of cold justice. Then I spoke, deliberately loud, every word cutting through the tension. Everyone, meet the man she's been hiding. The one she thought could replace what we had, the one she wanted as her plan B. You all thought it was a joke. She thought she could keep it quiet. But here he is, playing the part she wanted him to play. Gasps filled the room. Phones clicked as people started recording. The reality of betrayal was no longer a rumor. It was live, undeniable, viral in real time. I stepped back and let the backup man stand there, awkward, exposed, realizing he was now the centerpiece of a humiliation he never signed up for. I looked at her one last time. Her eyes, once full of mischief and charm, were now wide with panic, shame, and fear. "Do you see?" I whispered, barely audible, though she could hear every word. "This is what happens when you lie, cheat, and betray. Secrets don't stay hidden, and backup plans always fail." She tried to speak, tears forming, but the words never came. I didn't need to say anything else. The room had already spoken for me. People were whispering, pointing, shaking their heads. She was no longer the center of attention. Her little secret had become the star, but not in the way she ever imagined. I didn't leave her there entirely. I took her hand, firmly but without tenderness, and led her out of the bar. The murmurs followed us, the weight of every gaze pressing down, a living reminder of her actions. Outside, the cool night air hit us, and for the first time in months, I felt clarity. I wasn't angry anymore. I was free. I realized that betrayal wasn't just about pain. It was about understanding who deserved a place in your life, and who didn't. I turned to her, my voice steady, emotionless, slicing through the last remnants of our relationship. "You've made your choices, and now you get to live with them. Don't try to explain. Don't try to apologize. Actions speak louder than words, and yours have spoken clearly enough." She fell silent, tears streaming, realizing that no words could undo what had just unfolded. The backup man had shrunk into insignificance, the center of attention only long enough for the truth to land. Her friends, who had laughed and whispered behind her back, now looked at her with a mixture of pity and judgment. I walked away, letting the night swallow me, feeling a strange sense of liberation. Love, I realized, wasn't about holding on to someone who doesn't respect it. Love was knowing when to walk away, knowing when to expose the truth, and having the courage to let karma do the rest. The story of that night spread like wildfire. Videos surfaced online, clips of her shame and the backup man's awkwardness circulating everywhere. I didn't post them. I didn't need to. Truth has a way of finding its audience, and mine was loud enough to reach thousands, teaching a lesson about betrayal, deceit, and the power of standing tall when others try to bring you down. Months later, I heard whispers about her. She tried to rebuild, tried to explain, tried to regain dignity, but the memory of that night haunted her. And me. I moved forward, stronger, wiser, unburdened by the weight of someone else's lies. I had turned the backup into the main event, not for humiliation's sake, but to reveal the truth in the most undeniable way possible. And in doing so, I reclaimed the respect, pride, and peace that had almost been stolen from me. Betrayal leaves scars, yes, but sometimes it also clears the way for the strongest revenge. Living well, walking tall, and letting the universe deliver justice in full view of the world.